August the 26th, seeking out shipwrecks. I was shipwrecked before I even became. I was shipwrecked before I even boarded. The journey showed me this. How much of what we have is unnecessary and how easily we can decide to ourselves of these, to rid ourselves of these things whenever it's necessary, never suffering the loss. Seneca, Moral Letters, 87.1. August 26, seeking out shipwreck. I was shipwrecked before I even boarded. The journey showed me this. How much of what we have is unnecessary and how easily we can decide to rid ourselves of these things whenever it's necessary, never suffering the loss. Zeno. Zeno, widely considered to be the founder of the school of Stoicism, was was a was a merchant before he was a philosopher. On a voyage between Theandia and Piradus, his ship sank along with his cargo. Zeno ended up in Athens and, while visiting a bookstore, he was introduced to the philosophy of Stoicism and later, an Athenian philosopher named Crates. These influences drastically changed the course of his life, leading him to develop the thinking and disciplines, the thinking and principles that we now know as Stoicism. According to the ancient biographer Diogenes Laertius, Zeno joked, "Now that I've suffered shipwreck, I'm on a good journey." Or, according to another account, "You've done well. You've done well, Fortune, driving me thus to philosophy." He reportedly said, the Stoics weren't being hypothetical when they said, we ought to act with a reverse clause, and that even the most unfortunate event can turn out to be the best. The entire philosophy is founded on that idea. seeking out shipwreck. Seneca, I was shipwrecked before I even boarded. So Seneca understood, developed an understanding from Zeno's story that the shipwreck that he had led him to Athens and then to Stoicism, which has then gone on to teach, which went on to teach to Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus. So the Zeno, thank you, Fortune, for leading me to this philosophy. So what we understand as the worst thing that could ever happen is an example that it could be the greatest. But in the mind, we are nervous. We are the mind, the body, the ego is looking back at what's happened or what is happening now. And to foresee a future where worst case scenarios perspectives and perceptions, what we perceive as worst case scenarios, negative things can happen, and to avoid shipwreck at all cost, protect ourselves, and so that doesn't happen, because it's an energy of fear. And yes, we can protect ourselves. We can be in a place of not aiming for shipwreck, but be surrendered to it. It could lead us to something great. So we're not aiming for shipwreck. Seneca, Zeno, Marcus Aurelius, they're not aiming for shipwreck. It's being in the place of it could possibly happen. Shipwreck. As I go onto this ship, I'm shipwrecked. And if it happens, then it's not a surprise. And we are clear-headed. As I go into this job, I'm already fired. I'm easygoing if I get fired. We're not aiming to get fired, but we're releasing control of it happening, so we're releasing any control that other people have over us by saying it's okay if it happens. It being the place of shipwreck. This is stoicism of yes, if that happens, I have a reverse clause. If I'm shipwrecked, if I lose something, if loss occurs, if lose my job, lose a partner, lose someone dies close to me, or if the telephone breaks or laptop is something stolen. So it's like maybe going to a shop. Another example is going to a shop to buy the latest iPhone 13. And as we walk away with it, it's not like it's releasing ownership. It's like this phone could break, this phone could be stolen. Being an energy of the feeling, the energy of like it's not mine. And just yeah. So all attachments will be taken away. So if we don't attach to them, then they're less likely to be taken away. The universe, energy, nature, fortune will always find a way to take to take things away from you that you're attaching to, that you're bonded to teach us lessons. Or we can learn a lesson, or we can know this and we can say, I can I can unattach from that without the experience of it being taken away. We can embody that, the perspective, the perspective of loss, the perception that loss is a thing, and we're just one. We're just one with it all. Death, illness, injury. It's all allowed. It's all going to teach. If we allow it, if we embrace it, it will bring us to a place where we could never expect. Read stories about all of hundreds and thousands of stories in the past where perceived, in the instant perceived misfortune, the judgment of misfortune, actually, it was the best thing that ever happened. Mistakes, perceived mistakes, we always learn. We always learn to develop. We develop resilience through mistakes. We develop resilience. We develop courage. It's developed through the experience. Courage, kindness, love, gratitude, peace, serenity, temperament. So enjoy your day. Seek out those shipwrecks, but don't aim for them.